Alrighty, action. Show you guys my Hummingbird if I haven't before. And this is just the basic setup. This is all merely extra. I got the Thermarest NeoAir X-Lite pad. It's a women's, so my feet can kind of tuck off the edge when I just don't feel like I need the full pad. For the weight, it's a pretty well insulated pad. That said, you could use an Exped. I like Exped too, especially get a medium wide if you're a bigger person. The Hummingbird itself is a pretty small hammock. It's one of those, quote, pocket hammocks. I mean, although I wish it had a bigger stuff sack here, some other, there's things to be desired, like maybe couple little clips, like you can kind of secure them if you want. Zoom out here. You can kind of secure them if you want when you leave it, so your stuff doesn't blow out, whatnot. There's things, suspension wise, it looks like a mess right here right now, but it's just a hammock gear ultralight tree strap connected to an Exped slit line. And the Hummingbird, one unique thing I know about that company is its button links, which, you can see they're pretty simple. They just slide into my line here. I just find that on the slit line, the button will slip right in there. I mean, by direction, you're supposed to button it into itself, especially if you use it kind of carabiner style. Toggles work good. So my other hammocks, an Eno sub 6, and really great company. It's actually sub 7 I sent back. It's similar to this, only about a foot longer. This measures, I think, 8x4. It's maybe 9x4 in feet. And they sewed a bigger stuff sack on it, like Eno did. But Hummingbird here, I'm just digging the purple for now. I just have it. I love hammocks. I've got quite a few of them, and this is a combination that's winning for general backpack. I've got a net about the size of my hand, a bug net, a mosquito net, and I got it set up right now, this hammock gear dual-ended stuff sack, so I can just slide that hammock right in there. This is the sack to the pump sack for the Thermarest. You just connect the bottom of the pump sack. You can blow it up with your mouth too or whatnot, but usually at night I might drop some things in there. I normally don't have this backpacking, but I have before. My rig drags, my line is just the excess strap from my from my tree straps. I mean, if I had a bigger, I don't use a built-in ridge light. If I had, let's say I had trees far apart like one of those other ones, or a great big one like one of them up there, I might not have this extra cordage hanging around, but it's something I'm starting to appreciate. The ridge line I'll hang, maybe I'll hang my little stuff sack here from it and drop my phone in it. And I've got a ridge line organizer from Hammock Gear I really like. I might even come up with a concept to lengthen this hammock a bit, so I have a couple options to button it in, but use a fixed ridge line with that. I'm kind of spoiled, but super ultra light combo. It's a good feeling hammock, Simply Light Designs makes a custom little hammock where I think you can get it comes with 2 pockets. It might even come with a couple D-rings or loops. Like lately I've been doing that. Picture your sleeping bag or your top quilts here, which normally I like the REI Magma sleeping bag, 15 degree. It's really, like a 30, but get around it. But I also get a couple top quilts, and I'll leave them, especially if I'm hanging out somewhere a while. I'll kind of button I just have, shot cord the hammock together or whatever. I don't know. Something I've been doing lately. But this is simple and basic, keeping it light. I have a bottom quilt, so if it starts getting below freezing ways, I could have the pad in conjunction with the bottom quilt. But if all you're using is a bottom quilt, you might want, a longer hammock. Hummingbird makes them, and a ton of other places. The Superior Gear's got the built-in insulation, great hammock. Some have a little more sag, like Hammock Gear. Grand Trunk's making a nice hammock. I have a Trunk Tech single. It's a little bit longer, and I sleep on it with no pad or anything fine. Just put the bottom quilt on. But enough hammock talk. I see I'm at 5 minutes. I'll leave people alone. You can totally just run only the ultralight straps. I saw Wilderness Innovation sold some olive colored ones. They were kind of expensive. And Wilderness Innovations, I haven't heard much. I was really digging Perry's video. I haven't heard much from him. I actually got the ultralight poncho hammock, but it ended up just tearing, starting to stress at the top. And it was a thing where I never even ordered the ultralight. It's just a week went by and I never had my Wilderness Innovations hammock. I actually ordered just a heavier one that I was like, it just said shelf item. I'm like, oh, check out this guy's hammock poncho. And he's like, no, man, oh yeah. I called him, I was like, where's the hammock? He's like, oh yeah, I just didn't get it off the, the paper stuck together. I didn't get the order out. Okay, cool. But then he recommended the ultralight poncho hammock. I was like, well, I saw that one, but it only went to 150 pounds. So he's like, oh, no, that's wrong. It should be good to 250. And so long story short, I hung in it a couple times, kind of tested it out, took to the river. I probably have 18 hours hang time in it. And the ultralight one started fraying there. And that's actually the first time I've ever had a hammock that's the Wilderness Innovations ultralight poncho. Beautiful item, well sewn, the Made in America flag, but it started stressing there. I mean, it was like you could, when I ungathered the hammock into poncho mode, picture it's a hammock, you could go around with a gather, but it has a hood hanging down, snaps. I loved the closure things. You could close it. It was almost as light and small as this. I really dug it, but then it was stressing, like you could see where it was ready to tear, where they had it sewn. I was like, well, did I hang in it wrong? Did what your video said? He's like, no, but this is the first I've heard of it too. He's like, a long time ago we had some material that didn't work out so hot for us. So I sent it back, and that was over a month ago. I don't think I've heard from him. I'm thinking of calling him, but I'm just talking lightweight hammocks, because if you're huge, I suppose you could break them, but I'm a solid, 220 pounds, and I've never had trouble with this or my sub 6. My sub 6 from it might have a few stresses on it and stuff, like a woman stretched pantyhose or something. Not that I don't know what those look like, but stretch marks on the nylon, and I'm sure that would take care of me if it tore. Even after having it for years. But most of these companies are pretty good, and I'm not knocking Wilderness Innovation. I mean, he answers the phone right away. Great guy. Seems like I love his videos. Perry, Peacock, Wilderness Innovation. But in my nylon holder on my mountain bikes from there, I'm just digging the ultralight hammocks. I mean, they're winning compared to my bigger hammocks. I've got to show you a few different hammocks, tons of setups, and I've got a Dutch, a Simply Light. I've had a Simply Light before, but I mean a Superior Gear. I've got a Grand Trunk 11-footer. I've got a few. I had the Hammock Gear. I sent that back just because it was just sagging banana style too much for me. I mean, there's some great, different strokes for different folks, but I'm just really digging this setup. I can throw the pad on the ground or put it in a tent or somebody's apartment. I take it and put it on the train. When I'm on the train, I'll sleep on that lounge car at night. Just unroll that pad about midnight, get a good flat rest on the Amtrak train. It's Amtrak in the U.S., but there's all kinds of setups. It's versatile, I float on a lake with it. I don't think you're supposed to, but I would.